Bobotage! Well, it's time to go out for my daily walk. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. It's getting later and later, but you know, it's just getting hotter and hotter every day as we get closer to the South American summer, and I can't take that midday sun. So hopefully it's a little bit cooler, or the sun is not quite as high. Gonna get out there now. Come on, let's join me on this walk. Is anybody else as thoroughly sick of the U.S. presidential campaign as I am? What a nightmare. I am so sick of seeing that orange-haired sociopath on the news. I hope he loses big time on Election Day in the United States and is finally pays the price for all of his crimes, and that he disappears and we never hear or see from him again. That's my hope. I voted absentee, got my ballot here in Brazil, mailed it back, absentee of course. So I added my little tiny gota of participation, and I hope you do too. This is a crucial election that's coming up in about 2 weeks. Also, I am thoroughly sickened by the news coming out of the Middle East, the genocide of the Palestinian people. It's absolutely criminal, and I hope there's going to be a price to be paid for that also. Who would ever imagine that I feel far more peaceful here in Brazil, a country that is famous for its violence, but I am not experiencing that. On the contrary, there's no daily dose of craziness coming out of this country, unlike the one that I come from up north. I don't know if you can notice, but I am taking a different route today on my walk. I'm on a hill. You can see the ocean a few blocks down the hill down there. I'm walking up a hill, up and over a hill on a street that I've never walked on before. I always like to discover new parts of the city. So let's see which way this street will take me. Well, I know where I'm going to end up, but I always like the novelty of the walk along the way. This neighborhood is called Morro de Gavazza. And I actually once, long time ago, knew someone who lived in this neighborhood. Morro means hill. Gavazza, I don't know what that means. I think it's just a name. But I'm walking downhill now, and I'm still enjoying the ocean breeze on this hot day. This sidewalk is not exactly very safe, in the sense that it's all broken up and full of steps, so I'm going to walk in the road for a bit. One thing I want to say about Salvador streets, you know, as I mentioned before, the city was founded in the year 1550. Centuries ago. It's a very hilly street. The streets are very windy, and it was a city that was not built for cars, and thus you've got these small 1- and 2-lane one-way streets with an enormous amount of traffic. Sometimes I have to wait quite a while just to cross the street, because there's so many cars going by. Too much traffic for these kind of small city streets, but that's the reality of living in a city that's, you know, almost 500 years old. There are some major thoroughfares, but they're few and far between. But, you know, actually, that's one of the charms of Salvador, I think, that it's built more at a pedestrian scale than for cars, like cities are built in the United States. So I don't really mind the small streets, the narrow streets, except that there's just too much car traffic on them because they don't have a choice. I have 6 more weeks here in Salvador until I move back to Santo Antonio de Jesus, which I mentioned is about 4 hours from here. I'm going to be out there for 4 months with the objective of saving some money, and then at the beginning of April I will be moving back here to Salvador, and I'm thinking, boy, I sure would like to find an apartment in this neighborhood. It's called Grasa. It's very quiet, not a lot of traffic. The apartment buildings are nice. Nice tree-lined streets. And it's a bit hilly, but that's nice because you get the breezes towards the top of the hill, the ocean breezes. So yes, this is definitely a neighborhood I'll be looking at. And now I'm walking down the Avenida Centenario. This is a major thoroughfare. Very nice to walk down the center divide. Very tree-lined. The air temperature is cooler. It's nice. One interesting thing happened this week. A few days ago, I was walking down the street in another neighborhood and I found a book. It was a book by the 18th century French author Voltaire, in Portuguese, of course. What's unusual about it is that it's very rare to find a book here. Books are expensive for Baianos. Books are treasured, not something that would normally be thrown out. Back in my hometown, San Francisco, California, it's very common to find books in the street, free books, books that people put out on their front stoop, piles of books when people are moving, for example. And I'm a book lover, so I would always look through the piles of books and grab them. But to find a book here is highly unusual. And I found a book, as I mentioned, the Voltaire book by Voltaire, the French writer, the other day. And right now, on today's walk, I found another book. I just found this book, a book of essays by the Greek philosopher Plato, or in Portuguese, Platão. Again, very surprised to find a perfectly good free book in the street. It was inside of an old suitcase that was lying on the sidewalk. Someone had abandoned it, so I grabbed the book. And I will add both of these books, these newly found books, to my home library. I take it as a sign of good luck. The Candomblé Orisha Iemenja is blessing me with books. Also, I'm starting to see my upcoming move in 6 weeks from now to the small city of Santo Antonio de Jesus, where I'm going to be living for 4 months, December, January, February, and March. And then in April, I'm moving back here to Salvador. I'm starting to see that move as an opportunity. An opportunity, gotta watch out for traffic here. An opportunity to save money, to put aside money. And as I mentioned, my rent there is going to be significantly cheaper. All of my bills are going to be significantly cheaper. And I should be able to put a decent amount of money away every month for those 4, well, including November, next month, 5 months. And so that when I do come back to Salvador in April of next year, I'll have a nest egg and have more breathing space and flexibility to find just the right apartment for me, at the right price, in the right neighborhood, the right size. So that's how I'm seeing this temporary move back to San Antonio as something positive. And as I mentioned before, I'm also going to use this temporary move as an opportunity to make lots of small day trips, overnight trips, and weekend trips to interesting places in the region. This region, we're in the state of Bahia, But the region that I'm going to be living in is called the Recôncavo. The Recôncavo surrounds the very large Bay of All Saints, and there's a lot of beautiful and interesting colonial era towns and cities, and I'm going to be visiting them, so I'm looking forward to that too. And of course I will be taking you with me. Okay, I completed my hour-and-a-half walk today, and I came into my neighborhood shopping center to have a well-earned ice-cold acai on this very hot day. Anyway, thank you for joining me today on my walk, and I'll see you soon. Beijos, ciao.